Alright, hello and welcome to what will hopefully be a very short guide on how to do surf. I'm going to first cover ramp theory, everything you need to know about staying on and going faster, and keeping your speed. Then I'm going to go over airstrafing, which is extremely vital to doing all of these stages. And then finally, I'm going to go over a stage-by-stage breakdown of how to do everything in Surf Beginner. So the first thing you need to know is how to stay on the ramp, and that is actually fairly simple. All you have to do is press the opposite key of the side you're on. So if you're on the left side of the ramp, you press the right key, D, and if you're on the right side of the ramp, you press the left key, A. So what that looks like is D, hold down D to stay on, and hold down A to stay on if you're on the right side. If you just don't press anything, you'll fall into oblivion, and you'll probably have to start over. It's painful. Do not at any point press W or S. Pressing S will stop you in your tracks, as you can see. Will actually, in case some stages need you to drop down somewhere, S is actually useful, but typically you do not press S or W. W will it will make you fall off the ramp like so, unless you do some sort of sideways gimmick. But yeah, so that's staying on ramps. Next up is how to approach this. You always want to minimize the amount of speed you're losing, right? That's how you go fast. So to minimize the amount of speed, you have to make the angle at which you're approaching this ramp completely parallel, and oftentimes you'll have to set it up like, say I'm coming off a ramp right here and getting onto this ramp. I have to make sure that I'm parallel to this ramp before I get on to keep my maximum speed, and that's because if you come in at an angle, you'll just bump into the wall and lose your speed. It's the same principle as running head on into a wall, except much harder. So if you just go perpendicular to the wall, you won't lose any speed as you board. Two things that affect your speed on a ramp is your movement, your cursor's movement to the left and your cursor's movement to the right. So, or in other words, towards the center and away from the center. So what putting your cursor towards the center will do is push you up the ramp at the expense of speed, and what doing it away from the ramp will do is cost you or give you more speed at the expense of height. So going away, you'll see that I almost hit 1,000 speed over there. I ended up with 957 speed, and going up is more like I get more height, but I'm at like half the speed, 507 I believe I saw. But the towards the center flick, as it's called, is used to gain a little bit of extra height as you try to make the jump from one platform to another, and I will demonstrate that later on. Just remember that you can do a very subtle flick. It's as slow as this and it's as slight as this, and you can adjust it as needed. You can use it anywhere in a ramp, and you will be using it extensively if you decide to pursue a surfing career. So that's parallel, that's staying on, and that's the flick. Okay, so if you want to, once you've learned how to board parallel, then you must consider how to get the maximum speed, and to do that you need to board at the top of the ramp, get to the bottom of the ramp, and then leave somewhere around the center. That's ideal. Now, where you leave in terms of height depends on what your objective is. If you want to go for the shortest path, you probably want to leave on a flat trajectory, but if you want to, say, go for an arc, which you will need to do sometimes, if you want to lob yourself into a pit, you'll have to go high. So it all depends on what you want to do, but generally you want to start high and end low for the maximum possible speed. If you want to step your boarding game up further, like if you want to do more than just board from high to low, you can also add another plane of parallelity and fall this way. You can see that all of a sudden when I jump onto the ramp, I'm completely in line with the ramp on 2 dimensions, X and Y, instead of just 1. So if I board this way, I'm going to end up with a lot of speed. 970 that time, I believe. And again, whatever side you pick on the ramp is completely up to personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and get past this so I can show you bunny hopping. Oh, one more thing. And if you want to step up your game further, if you already know how to airstrafe, you can airstrafe onto the ramp for a little bit of extra speed boost. Alright, airstrafing is up next. So what this is moving in the air, turning in the air. It is extremely important because it gives you a lot of maneuverability and it sets you up to take these ramps parallel. So how you do this is, well, first of all, note that if you jump and just turn without pressing anything, you will go in a straight line. If you jump and you press the A and D keys without looking anywhere, you will go in a straight line. However, if you jump, you press D, say if you press your A or D keys and you look left or right in the same direction as you're pressing your commands. So if you press A and turn left, all of a sudden you will turn to the left. If you do D and R at the same time, you will turn to the right. It is extremely important to have this concept down pat because so many ramps require you to airstrafe like I just did right there in order to even get on it. If you didn't know how to airstrafe, you'd probably just, you know, smack into here and then try to seesaw your way to enough speed to get onto that. So you need to learn how to airstrafe. You will also end up dodging obstacles with airstrafing. You will fly through holes with airstrafing. It's just critical to everything you do. If you don't know how to airstrafe, you can practice by bunny hopping. Starting from 0 speed, holding down the space bar, you turn right and move right, turn left and move left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And what you should see is that you're actually building up speed. You can typically get a maximum of 250 speed with walking, but I'm going up to 600 right here, and I could probably go up to even higher if I was bunny hopping properly, but this is just the exercise you do, okay? Just start with holding down spacebar, and then press D and turn right, press A and turn left, press D and turn right, press A and turn left, and do it as fast as you can to gain as much speed as you can. And once you have this down pat, you should be able to do surf very cleanly. Alright, so now that we have airstrafing and ramps out of the way, I'll do the step-by-step of how to do surf beginner. Stage 1, start high to low. It's always good to practice that, even if all you have to do is, you know, glide across. Heck, I think you can even bunny hop across. Yep, you can bunny hop across. You really don't have to do anything on this stage, so just get across. If you want to be faster, just always on every single stage you can just hop straight into the portal, and it will take you there without you having to say walk in, which will save you a couple seconds from time to time. Another thing you can do, again, practice airstrafing onto the ramp, and after you have airstrafing onto the ramp, you can airstrafe and go into the portal. And that is all for stage 1. Stage 2, this one is simple. The ideal path would be to go on the same side as you started on. So if you started left, you go down, you airstrafe to the left, and then you board this one on the left. Or if you start right, you airstrafe to the right, and then you go here. But if that's too many button presses, then you can also go opposite. start right, go left, or start left, go right. You're still airstrafing in both cases, but the long way is less button presses, because with same side you're pressing D, then A, then D, whereas the long way you're pressing only D and A. The reason why I call it the long ways is well, it's more distance overall, and therefore takes longer to travel. It is a lot easier though. For optimization, just strafe on, go to the very bottom, and cling to the bottom. You'll see how low I stayed. Start from top, go to the bottom, cling to the bottom, and just be sure to hop into the portal. If you're unable to make it across this ramp to the end, it's probably because you're hitting it not parallel enough. As you can see, I was still angled inwards, and I lost all my speed. You need to be parallel, and that is why airstrafing is so important. If you don't have enough, if you're landing on the very tip like I did just now, you can wait a little bit to airstrafe, and then turn. And that applies to everything that you do, but whatever it is that you do, make sure that you are parallel or a little bit further than parallel from the ramp before you board it. So number 3, always do it from the left side because it is easier and it is shorter distance, but just to show that it is possible to do it from the right side, there you go. It's possible to do it from the left side too, or right side too, but the left side is just much easier. What you're gonna do is you're gonna start at the top, right along the bottom, and then turn. You will not flick, or you likely will not have to. It's as easy as it looks, actually. So I don't know what else to say about this one. You can optimize your time by getting off the ramp sooner. You'll see that I actually hopped off before the wall even ends. And I'll do that one more time. Curve around. If you can't make it up here but you're going fast enough, and I would say 900 is fast enough, it's because you're not flicking hard enough. You're not looking into the ramp as hard as you could be. You just need to look in more. Flicking over there will cost you a bit of speed, especially if you're new to trying to be smooth about boarding ramps. So really all you have to do is look over and it's done. Note that this is an air strafe when I'm doing the turnaround. Every single movement in the air for you should be an air strafe. You should make it as second nature as like crouching, jumping, ducking as needed in a real competitive game. It's that important. And yeah, that's it for stage 3. Stage 4. This one is straightforward, but the thing that people seem to forget is that you need to air strafe back and align yourself with the ramp again before you board it. Like before, we take it from top to bottom. If you want to optimize your time, you can flatten out your curve, because when you do the whole flick inwards to gain height, you're trading height for vertical speed to get over this. To optimize it, you can actually take a shallow path, get off early, and as you can see, we were a little lower and very close to the top of the ramp, but we were a bit faster about it too, and we were only this deep on the ramp. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to go top to bottom, but generally it is best because it will give you the most speed. Now if you are advanced, you can do a skip here where you crouch, hold down space, and then jump through just like that. So stage 5, this one is tricky for most people. This is where people start to get stuck. As normal, you start from the top and at the bottom, and then leave this time at the 75% mark. However, you can probably leave from a wide variety of ranges other than the 75% mark, but it is pretty much the middle of those ranges possible, so it's a very good marker. It will drop you right in the middle of the pit, and you'll be able to continue on to the very end. If you have enough speed to make it to the first pit, you have enough speed to make it to the end. If you aren't making it to the end, it's probably because you're just smashing into the ramp at the wrong angle. Like, this is probably the most common mistake that I see. You need to airstrafe and adjust yourself so that you are in line with the ramp before you board it. And if possible, try to board the second ramp from the highest point possible to the lowest point possible. Oops. Someone wants to challenge me, but okay, I'll do it. Wait, where is this? Oh, whatever. What can I talk about while I'm doing this? Oh. So, an important thing you have to do is keep every single motion you have as smooth as you possibly can. This is all done for the sake of keeping your speed high. You typically want to have a low sensitivity, somewhere around 2 or 3, but I actually go for a higher sensitivity because my mouse pad is very small. A good rule of thumb is to have enough space on your entire mouse pad to be able to do a 360 in one swipe. Oh Jesus. And there goes my record. Ooh. So your sensitivity is just however you want to set it. So where were we? Stage 5. Okay, we just got through stage 5. There is not much of an optimization trick that I found for stage 5 that I know of, so we'll just be moving on. Stage 6 is the same thing as stage 5 in terms of optimization. There's not really much. You just hop over this fence, then turn around and get to the end. For the end platform, you have to bunny hop, and you can do that again just by holding down spacebar. So again, we leave here around the center, then we go out for a bit and then turn, hold down spacebar, and then get to the end. If you want to optimize this, okay, first we'll go over the common mistake that people make. Sometimes people will turn too quickly and they'll fall into this pit. All you have to do is just wait a bit before you turn, and then, oops, and then turn. You get the idea. If you want to optimize it, you can take a shorter path. It's very tricky to do, but you leave early, then you get onto the ramp like that. It saves you a bit of time and takes you to 6. And finally, stage 7, this is the tricky one. You want to leave about a centimeter away from the ramp. Board high to low as usual. Shit. Board high to low as usual. Then leave around the bullet marks. Turn around. Did you notice how parallel I was to the ramp at the end? Oh Jesus. Okay. And then you'll end up like that. Okay. So one more time. Oh, he wants me to show him the other side. You leave near the bullet marks. You line yourself up to this. Oh Jesus. This is awful. Line yourself up on the other side. Do a 360. I probably did more 360 than I had to. I'm not used to doing that side. Ooh, this is awful. In fact, I think I turned the wrong way, which is what cost me my speed. Whoa! Here we go. You'll notice I flicked off that big ramp at the end. And there you have it. That is all 7 stages. I don't think there's optimization for this one. Okay, he needs to see how I land on the second ramp. So, there's no real optimization for this one. It's just, oops. You just need to leave near the bullet marks. Land. You need to leave near the bullet marks. Line yourself up so that you're parallel to this. And then do a flick off of it. That's all there is to it. I think I've covered everything, so I'll be helping Happy God personally now. See you next time, and please don't forget to leave comments if you found something pleasant or unpleasant. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.